I'm going to the corner store, find some rope to hang for. I'm going to the edge, find all the people that fled from me. I'm going finally on my way. I'm taking no prisoner. Finally, they will pay. Look who snuck in our back door. They've done it a time before.
He belongs to every race, every creed, and every color. And we're going to do everything in our power to prevent
it. I'm going to the corner store, find some rope to hang for. I'm going to the bar, smash out the cars on the side of the road. Look at you, look at me. I am finally on my way. You can't stop me now. I'm going to the store, find something to live for. You won't get away that easily. Yeah. Ring it down.
Fellows, we didn't ask you here this evening to criticize you for the things that you've done. Rather, we're going to ask you to cooperate with us by discussing your misunderstanding.
Run, go, find your peace. You won't be able to release your pain. Look around on that corner. They wait for you. Even now, you won't see anything different today. I wish you go away. I'm going to the store, find me some rope to hang for.
Greetings in the name of the Most High. Yes. Well, many were commenting about the lizard index yesterday. Some hitting them really hard. They didn't see my lizard index, but I'm just saying that from just the wave of darkness that's come over America at this point, and a little brighter, America at this point, and it looks like that's pretty accurate, and really it stays at 9. We're in. We also have a potential for the larger war with respect to Russia, Ukraine, all that having to be dealt with, and then the breaking and underlining the ceasefire, and then no ceasefire, and then ceasefire. I think Trump, being the undisputed leader of the world, will basically keep on with this peace thing and keep on with trade, because those are the two things that he wants to do, is really make the world a better place to live and be. But he's going up against and this is the heroic part of Trump, he's going up against forces of, that have all the money in the world and all the time in the world, and all they want to do is overthrow the United States, for one, and overthrow populism in the world as another. And the reason they want to do this is because they want to rule with a top-down technocratic society, kind of loosely based on communism and socialism, but really authoritarianism at its worst. And a lot of people are too blind to see, like they justify overthrowing America because it's stolen land. Well, I could never believe that, because I thought, I saw the land was fought for, and it may not have been a fair fight, but it was fought for and won by the people that came, who expanded to the West, from Europe and the colonies and then on to West. But all those territories were fought for, and the Indians lost. So that, so that's that. It's not that they came in and stole the land, or people didn't have a concept of ownership. And so because the Indians, we know, the Native Americans, the tribes fought over territory all the time. A lot of death. So, and the same thing with the Mexican-American War. The Mexicans lost. And so when you see people with the Mexican flag saying, "This is our land," it's like, okay, well, you got to fight for it then. So who's going to wave a flag? Well, then you're just, a mouth. That's all you are. You've got nothing to back it up. You're going to fight for Arizona and California and everything to be Mexican territory. Well, then what you're going to want to do is, you're going to want to win and shove out the Americans and establish the borders and enforce those borders. And if you can do that, then then it's your land. If you can't do that, your flag makes you look idiotic, period. It's fought over. Land was fought over. So when you hear Obama or any of these lefties going around saying stolen land, you can just laugh at the argument. Stolen, you mean conquered land. First by the Spanish conquistadors earlier on, right? And then by the Europeans. It's not really a racist issue. It's a territorial issue, and but I hate that. I hate that you're discounting war. I mean, a lot of blood was spilled to conquer the lands, and they want. Now, if somebody else comes in here, if North Korea comes in here and wants to fight over that land in the West and take California and Arizona and Nevada, and they win it fair and square, then they won. It's theirs now. They didn't steal it. They won it. Or Russia, or if they create a terror organization that has nukes and they decide to nuke everybody and get everybody out of those territories and establish their own border and say, look, we're taking back the land. We want it. You want it. It's yours. And the world has to respect that. But you don't respect people when they say, this is a stolen land. This is ours. When nobody stole anything, it was conquered, fought for, people died. Okay? People died. People on both sides died. It's just a lot more died on the side of, the Mexicans, the Indians, whatever. And so those territories became America. And they could be conquered by somebody else. The whole underground communist movement is trying to conquer America from within to collapse it from within. Problem with that is, and they're doing everything they can do to do it. So they're deciding to do this at a time where you have probably the fiercest warrior since Patton, but this time he's president, not general. And, I would not play around with Trump. He says what he means and means what he says. If he says there will be consequences, there will be consequences. There will be a bloodbath. There will be death. And I would say the American military is not going to defect to the socialist, globalist, technocratic, scientific dictatorship, soulless AI society. I would say the military will back up the president and and go into Chicago and San Francisco, Los Angeles, Memphis, Dallas, Houston, and all these various cities, and they mean business. I think that the U.S. military showed, some gumption in taking out some of these boats from Venezuela, including a submarine. That's just to show that there's really no mercy at this point. Things have ramped up so much there cannot be mercy or quarter. There has to be the element of siege, and so I wouldn't take that. If I, in betting, I would bet that Trump would win the domestic war and break the back of the Democrats, and they would probably, unless they can keep on ruling by deception, which is to, convince people that they won the election. And if you question it, then they start, throwing people in jail, staging insurrections, doing all the games they like to play. I don't really see that happening this time around. It's like the pendulum has gone the other way. A little distilled water. So the Lizard Index, ladies and gentlemen, for today, which is the October 23rd, 2025, a Wednesday. It's Wednesday morning, and as you can see, still dark out there. And time is about, I dare not look at touch my 5:23 in the morning. As I said before, the Lizard Index stays at 9, 10, the very upper portion, and may stay there until the crisis bears out in terms of the government shutdown and the Civil War, how that's going to play out when the EBT cards are cut, food stamps are cut, and half the politicians are trying to lead the country into a revolt. That revolt will be put down, and how long it will take, for that kind of chaos to settle down. I don't know what they're going to do, but I know that. Let me give you a quote by Trump, and maybe you can go by this. Besides the snake story, let me give you a quote by Trump. He goes, "Yeah, the way we do business is nasty." He was talking about the business with Xi Jinping. The way we do business, business is nasty, can be nasty. He says, look, it can be, it can, what about all those tariffs, 100% tariffs, and, all the atrocities going on, all the horrible things going on. Well, it can be nasty, he says, but it's just business. Now, who's the last guy you heard talk like that? Don Corleone, right? The Godfather. You got it, baby. So those who are happy about the upcoming fight, you're still going to have to realize that we have global interests also that are, planning EMT attacks and all kinds of other things. And again, it's a wild scramble for who's going to control the world. I would say that there's no way to control the world because man's incapable. You could give man the world and he would fuck it up, So basically, as far as this wave of darkness that's come over, it's like not a wave. Well, I guess it is. Stay close. Kiss the animals. Hug your children and your loved ones. Decorate with Halloween comes next week, and then after Halloween, the pagan holiday, then comes a month of preparation before Thanksgiving, and then of course Christmas. So you can do what I do, and I kind of avoid all the negativity by I'm putting lights up this year. I'm putting Candelarias up, and I really like watching. I put them on a timer so they automatically go on when you can see them from the outside. I may take a video of it, but they're very, very nice. It really puts me in the mood, and it gets me distracted from, the world, because the world right now it's okay not to look at it. I'd say looking at the world right now may cause psychological damage. And at the same time, there will be surprises. If the Democrat Party wants to implode, I guess the two-party system is a joke anyway. There's people, both Democrats and Republicans. And Trump quashed that just like Trump is quashing the truth about Charlie Kirk. It's the same thing he did with Vegas, okay? Same thing he's done with a lot of things. But, I mean, Charlie Kirk is a done deal. It's sealed. It's people keep speculating on it. Candace Owens can keep speculating on it. But as far as I'm concerned, the case is closed. Closed? How do you mean closed? It's closed because the government quashed it. Epstein is closed because the government quashed it. Who's the head of the government? Where's the buck stop? It's closed because Trump quashed it. He quashed Epstein and he quashed Charlie Kirk. Here's a really dark thought. You think Trump knew about Charlie Kirk ahead of time, but just figured it was business and there's nothing he could do about it? Then he presents Erica Kirk, another insider, whom he's already groomed to take over. Does that chill you off a little bit? Any horror movie you can think of that's worse than that? So I would just say, choose your battles. I don't want to put any more energy into this because I just keep running into these trolls that keep, how dare you not let the widow grieve? It's like, that ain't no widow, baby. You can forget about that. There ain't no widow. That's a black widow, okay? That's a black widow spider. And if you can't see that, then you just, I guess you failed even television, because television, at least they have soap operas where you have femme fatales and things like that. Now, I won't go that far, but what I will say is it possible that she knew everything as she claims? It's possible, sure, but there's nothing I can do about it. I have my theory as to what happened. I believe he was whacked by, powerful forces that have given money. And when Charlie refused 150 million and refused to play ball with Israel, he got whacked soon thereafter. Okay, so there's evidence. That's all your money. I know there's been one complaint here about noise, and I only sit here because it's warm and comfortable for me to, flip open the laptop here and, kind of in the kitchen or kitchen table type of thing. No, you're going to have to go outside. Yeah, no, you're going to go outside. There he goes. I'm about done here. Suffice to say, the lizard index is about, between 9 and 10, and fluctuating. And most of the lizard index is being influenced of darkness that seem to have come into this situation. Being flooded with spiritual darkness, spiritual wickedness, spiritual it's like a spiritual overthrow. And so you're going to want to stay away from, I would stay away from Halloween parties. I mean, just say I'm young and I'm gregarious and I want to go out and have some fun. I'd stay away from concerts, especially where you're not sure of the status of the providers. Concerts have been known to go terribly wrong, and that's any kind of concert. I'm not sure about football or any of the sports, but I would tend to stay away from that. Tailgating, as people do on Halloween, I would avoid. And I would just, plan on having a fairly quiet day. What I like to do on Halloween is just, I have these celebrating is the birth of Christ, which happens on Rosh Hashanah, in my view. And we're way past Rosh Hashanah, which is in September. So I'm just kind of like, well, in honor of Jesus, whenever he's born, lights. I believe Jesus would like lights. So I'm having a lot of fun putting those in. White lights. I've got some different colored lights off my bedroom. I've got these Candelarias, which are unique to New Mexico, I think, or the Southwest. And they go on the top of the building, and they're just like little bags with lights in them. They used to burn candles, but I think they burnt down too many houses. So now they have little like lights. And then I've got some lights in the courtyard. It's very festive, and it makes me appreciate, the blessings we do have, and it makes me go into a mode of gratitude, as we prepare this year. We have a lot going on, a lot of travel for me, and so there's a need to really, train, if you will, for another run to Europe, in this case, Eastern Europe. More Crazed House films done, but I mean, they're basically done, but they don't have a distributor, or they're missing post-production, or if we really believe in it, or, a number of factors, but we're also looking to expand that business this year. Good things. And why is that good? It's good because when we find films that we think you'd like, they will be coming through our pipeline, and they'll be available to you. And a lot of them will be available for free on things like Tubi and Plex and I'm not sure about Fandango, but whatever, these other places. And so that you'll have more variety. I spend an hour and a half looking for a film to watch on Netflix. I'll be doing that tonight. I'll probably watch some football. I've been following the league, wondering when I'm going to jump in and make a bet with somebody. And then I realized, well, I probably shouldn't make any bets. So I haven't made any, but it's, in the midst of the game, as long as the refs aren't cheating too bad, it's a nice escape. I don't have anything else to do except for procuring stories and preparing, to pitch stories to different people and different producers, and we've got a lot of activity going on, like with Crazed House. So I'm really grateful for the work and for the opportunities that have come our way this year, and it's already made quite a nice difference. I can't go into the details of how we're distributing exactly and what we're doing, but the distribution aspect of our business is, keeping the lights on, you might say, keeping things moving in the right direction. So we'll be doing more of that. And as we move to bring you films that you would not get, ultimately. I mean, I'm not looking to compete with other distributors. I'm looking to, maybe putting together a channel that has some really messed up shit on it. You know what I mean? You've got, it's just a matter of time to put these shows together, And I think the benefit of indie film for the world is the free-flowing ideas and expression. You make a film about anything you want. You can make it about a sunflower that falls in love with a tree and then has his heart broken. You can do a film on anything you want. It's still the greatest medium. And only the indies take advantage of that freedom because the others are too busy either painting by numbers or copying what had been done before. It's version 2, version 3, version 6. So I'm not opposed to that. I'm saying about indie film or the Sundance Channel. Well, they're not. It's about politics. It's about who's politically correct that they want to promote. And, that's one hopes those days are over, but we're not really distributing to the world, not just to the United States. A film shows up for us in Italy, in Italian or Italian dubbed or with English subtitle with Italian subtitles. It'll also be here as well. So that's what's exciting to me, and also it means that the whole world will have act on our slate. You can look at it at crazedhouse.com and see what's on the slate, but that needs to be updated to show like my film Transference, which has been absolutely astounding performance on the festival circuit. Now, admittedly, some of these festivals are very, I wouldn't say they're like Cannes or the Academy Awards or something, but they do help. And I don't like the producers now who narrow the Toronto, Berlin, and if it's in the horror space, London. To me, that's just, or Canada, Fantasia. And it's like, well, that's all good and well, but those days have gone. The days of the Darling Festival, there's a lot more festivals popping up that are moving the dial. And hopefully they can avoid being pressured into political correctness. Hopefully they will. And I'm thinking of a few now. So we get into a combination of those. We get into why do we like festivals? Because dollar for dollar for your advertising, there's no better way to get the word out because the world has become so small with social media that the festivals give you the social media and basically gets the word out everywhere. We hear from people all over the world. They know who we are. And they know that we've got films they want to see and they're asking us about them. And we just had a watch party with our cast of Quantum Devil, celebrating the fact that we've finally got hold of it again. Some company tried to rip it off from us and bogged down we couldn't release it when we wanted to. And then they, and they just kept it and didn't fulfill their contract or anything. They just were just criminal. And so finally that's, going the right direction. We had a watch party with the cast. I hadn't seen them in a couple of years. They all loved being there. They all stayed till the end. Some were working on TV shows and feature films, but they stayed to the end anyway, even though in Europe it was late. And we just had a great time watching every frame of it. Was somebody was doing something laudable. They're just like, we just carefully and almost forensically went through the entire film with everybody being able to chime in. And you realize now this film just resonates so much better now than it did 2 years ago. It's like, it looks fantastic. And it's a really fun film. That's all I can say. So if you want to see it, you can see it on Prime right now. You can see it, I think anywhere that you see your films, you can see it. Because we are, I believe, I'm not sure we're globally distributed with that one, but we are domestically, and we're looking to globally distribute in the coming weeks. Transfer, and I put back out on the circuit. I put out there, and they've gobbled it up. So that's going to be going worldwide. In a couple of weeks, you'll be able to see that anywhere. Transference, And I definitely recommend it because it's a very unique movie. It's been very, very popular out there. I know probably some of my peers are going, it's not that good. Well, it may not be so bad. It may, I remember how into it I was when I was directing it, and just how I had worked out so many beats of it. But it's very unusual. Nobody has ever questioned, well, when did you make this? Wow, that's a pretty good period piece. They just watch it like it's now. So it's a now film. It was lost and turned into right now it's the most popular, or among them, because all the films have won awards. All the films have gotten the attention of people, and that's why we've been able to now go into global distribution because of our reputation, has been good, pay our bills, honest with people. We just don't want to be like a lot of things you hear about with the movie business, a lot of shady people. We don't do that. We honor everything we say we do. We have our word. You get a deal memo from us, we stick with it. Even if something better comes along, we don't care. We just got to trust God here, and just try to do the right thing every decision we have to make. So the fact that we're still here is also quite impressive to me. But we're going to be going ahead further. So I'm going to focus on some of that stuff. I'm focused on bringing back. You'll be surprised. We're going into television as well. So that would be like an 8 to 10 episode deal. And if that works, probably the output would be something like Netflix or HBO, something, more corporate. And that means more commercial. And that means we'll get accused of selling out and being too normal. But we have the ability to entertain on I think on an HBO level. I don't think it's really a problem. So that's what I'm kind of focusing on, is making sure that's all running right and doing that right now, and celebrating Jesus. And not, I see people making this mistake of hiding Jesus around the holidays, and believe me, you need the protection under the blood of Christ. Be more quiet than you were, unless this lizard index goes down. Now, I go by this index. It's my opinion. There's no scientific fact. I'm not a diviner. This is not a psychic reading. This is just something that I was inspired to bring back, the lizard index. People have a lot of fun with it, but it's no fun now, is it? I mean, it's like, sitting there off the hook, and everyone goes, I know, I know. It's like, I know, it really sucks. But we'll get through this. I'm not sure how America will do in the end, but I would say we'll get through it somehow. I don't, there's one side of our economy and the people that just don't want to participate in America anymore. They want to, overthrow it, and they want to, they don't want to try to fix it. They don't want to reform it. It's just too corrupt, and they want to cancel it. The problem with that is there's nothing to take its place. So it's just every man for himself, and you'll be killed. I mean, big deal. That is the kind of chaos I want to avoid, because it's taking a long time to build this infrastructure. The Lord, but just, Charlie Kirk, I'm like, I need to step back and get away with it. Sorry. They're going to get away with it. They're going to, it's the FBI is pushing as hard as they can, according to Candace Owens anywhere, to make everyone think it's Tyler Robinson, the shooter. It's a case closed. Anyone making an issue about it will be surveilled. And we should have just said shooter. They're going to cover it just like Trump locked up Vegas. He locked up Well, the biggest, and then during the assassination, he's overseeing them table Epstein for forever. In other words, the no more investigations into Epstein. It was brought to a vote, and they table Epstein until some future Congress. Make you feel good? Well, find me somebody better. Find me someone less corrupt to be president. And, you'll find somebody, and they won't be popular enough to win the presidency. I mean, someone who can win. Okay, I rest my case. I've got to let it go. I'm looking at the world peace situation and the danger zones out there, and I've got to be right on the Lizard Index, and I'm just saying, take it easy. It's not going to kill you to take a couple of weeks to just appreciate what you've got, and stay close to home. That do your hobbies, whatever they are, and enjoy your kids, whatever. Just maybe not the time to be pushing and want to run all over the place, going to parties and things like that. There'll be Christmas parties. But I'm not sure where we'll be. Probably we'll be out of the woods, and you'll be able to go to a Christmas party if you really want. I find them kind of depressing because if you get drunk, it's kind of fun. You know what I mean? Because you really don't know what you're doing, and you say a bunch of stupid shit, and it's dramatic. But say you're sober, I'm not sure it's any fun, is it? Anyway, so don't be disappointed about Epstein. It's just, I'm sorry, Kirk. Epstein, Kirk. Kirk and Epstein. My God, the two are joined at the hip. Epstein and Kirk, it's like one thing. Meanwhile, the invasion is about to begin.
Looking out at the devastation. I'm still here. I'm here. I'm still here. Looking out from my crumbling concrete. Just turned the power off last week. American wasteland. American wasteland. American wasteland. Exploit the people. Steal all their water. Burn down them buildings and call it progress. One day you'll get caught for what you did. I can see you planning another devastation. That's all you know how to do. I'm looking out at a broken system. American wasteland. America. Corporatocracy. American progress. In your burned out world. Once I believed in the dream. Have you seen Detroit? I always thought there would be a way to work it all out. wasteland. American wasteland. American wasteland. Looking for the way out. Is there another American wasteland? Think I'll move to Mother Russia. Take my chances in a Black Sea. I hear that Costa Rica has some pasta.